I know you want to get jacked, to build the physique of your dreams without the years of trial and error and uncertainty, but the weight on your scale is stuck. After putting on a total of 45 pounds over the last few years, I know what it takes to eat to build muscle without going overboard. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 changes that you could be implementing into your diet so you could finally break that dietary plateau and build the physique that you deserve to have. And if you want to put this plan into action immediately, I put together a meal plan optimized for beginners in the gym so that you could gain your first 10 pounds of muscle within 90 days without having to worry about whether your diet is holding you back or not. You can grab it for free with the link in the description below. The first thing that you need to do before committing to eating more calories is to determine whether you should even be in a surplus in the first place. And there's a chance that you could already be eating enough right now to maintain a surplus, and you just haven't given your body enough time to see the changes play out. Muscle is metabolically expensive to create, so your body could only use a certain amount of calories to build new lean muscle tissue. Anything else gets stored as fat. The sweet spot for beginners is ideally anywhere between a half pound to 1 pound of total body weight gained per week. And to achieve this, you shouldn't be eating anything more than 10 to 15% above maintenance. And for most guys, that ends up being around 200 to 300 calories. Anything more than that will result in unnecessary fat gains while still producing the same amount of muscle growth. So if you know that you're eating enough to gain weight, but you're still not sure if any of that is going to muscle, you should be looking at strength gains as your framework. Because if you're not training hard and progressing on a week-to-week basis, then yes, all of those excess calories that you've been eating will be stored as fat instead of muscle. As a beginner, you don't need to train nearly as hard as an advanced lifter to make progress, but you should still be tracking everything that you're doing and make sure that you're making progress on a week-to-week basis. And assuming that you're eating 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and you're coming back to the gym stronger every single week while eating in a surplus, then you're on track to make gains over time. So now that you figured out whether you should even be bulking in the first place, how do you put that plan into action if you're someone that's struggling to eat enough calories? The first change that I would make to your diet is bumping up your fat intake. So like I suggested earlier, you don't need anything more than 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So I would recommend the remainder of your calories to be filled with other macronutrient sources. And because fats contain 9 calories per gram instead of the 4 calories per gram that carbs and proteins contain, I would highly recommend bumping up your fat intake if you're someone that struggles with eating a larger volume of food. And since I always recommend basing the majority of your diet around nutrient-dense whole foods, I'm going to give you a list of high-quality fat sources that you can incorporate into your diet. 1 serving of dark chocolate is just 4 tiny squares and boasts 250 calories and is also rich in minerals like iron, magnesium, and zinc. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter is just 190 calories and is a great source of B vitamins and antioxidants. 1 tablespoon of olive oil is just 120 calories and can directly improve heart health and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. A large avocado contains over 300 calories, and its nutrients directly contribute to improved heart and digestive health. So no matter what your dietary preferences are, there's a plethora of healthy fats that you could add to your diet to make hitting your calorie goal effortless, all without having to even increase the volume of food that you're eating. So once you start cutting down the total volume of food without compromising your calorie intake, how can you maintain that on a day-to-day basis if you're someone that struggles eating multiple times a day? That brings us to the importance of liquid calories. This one was a huge game changer for me. As someone that used to struggle on hitting my calorie goal on a day-to-day basis, I needed to find a way to increase my calorie intake without having to rely on eating all the time. And that's when I came up with the idea of making a high protein, high calorie shake that I can consume at any time of the day, especially when I was short on time. I would still use high quality nutrient dense sources, but knowing that all I had to do was blend the ingredients together and drink up, I no longer had any obstacles in my way preventing me from hitting my dietary and caloric goals. On another note, I do recommend staying away from artificial mass gainer shakes. They're advertised as an easy solution to adding additional calories to your diet, but they offer no additional benefits to nutrient dense sources and they can be quite expensive. In fact, fact, I provided a link to one of my other videos with a timestamp showing you how to make a healthy homemade mass gainer shake that'll cut through any caloric plateau. I've used this shake throughout my lifting journey, and it's consistently helped me gain weight no matter how strapped for time that I was. You can check it out if you want the recipe. So I love the idea of being able to add whatever you want to a blender and then chug it down if you're someone that's struggling to hit your calorie goals with food alone. But after a while, you might find yourself getting sick of that approach like I did. So what else can you do besides just adding fat to your diet and making homemade mass gainer shakes to help? You might find this one a bit shocking, but it is okay to add some additional junk food to your diet. Hopefully I haven't lost you there yet. I promise I have a good explanation for why I'm saying this. If the majority of your diet is coming from high quality nutrient dense sources, I would say somewhere around 80% and beyond, then I would say that it's acceptable to fill the remainder of your diet with highly processed, more palatable foods. If controlled and used strategically, this approach isn't going to hurt you in the long term. And this especially applies if you're living an already active lifestyle and take care of your health in every other account. A lot of these higher processed foods pack an insane amount of calories into a reduced volume of food. So this makes them an effective way to bump your calories up and get into a surplus without even having to increase the total volume of food that you're eating. I'm sure by now you're starting to see a trend between all of the solutions I've been offering. They might all have slightly different approaches, but the end result is the same. No matter what treat you decide to use to help you round off those remainder calories, it'll always be easier than trying to cram additional chicken and broccoli into your diet. And even if that approach on paper is healthier, it doesn't make it more viable when your goal is to consistently eat more calories on a day-to-day basis. Assuming that you've hit all of your macro and micronutrient goals from that 80% of your diet packed with nutrient-dense sources, you'll already have taken a health-oriented approach to your strategy. Adding an additional treat here and there is a great way to keep your mindset long-term oriented. This is because you're creating a system that you can adhere to for the rest of your life, as opposed to following a super restrictive diet that you're disincentivized from sticking to. And the less incentivized you are to stick to a diet, the further you'll stray from your goals in the long term. So now that you know what you should be eating in order to increase your calorie intake, is there anything on the other hand that you should not be eating? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there are foods that you should not be eating to gain muscle, especially after I told you that it's okay to eat some junk food in moderation. I would definitely look like an absolute fool, but that doesn't change the fact that if you're here, your current diet is holding you back from building muscle. And if you're already struggling to consume enough calories to maintain a surplus, we need to start looking at a way to replace some of the foods that you've built a habit out of eating. If you're already happy with how your diet is structured and just want a way to optimize what you're currently eating without compromising the quality of your foods, don't worry, I've got you covered. If you're someone that likes to eat low-calorie fruits like berries or watermelons, you could always swap them out for more calorie-dense sources. Some great examples would include bananas, mangoes, apricots, and raisins. The same also goes for lean protein sources. You could always opt for proteins that have higher fat content without having to compromise the quality of the protein that you're currently eating. This also makes it so you don't have to eat an additional volume of food. Some great examples would be swapping out your chicken breast for chicken thighs, or adding fatty fish like salmon or sardines to your diet. If you don't like chicken or fish, you could always go with fattier cuts of steak or something like 73% lean ground beef. Instead of skim milk and skim yogurt, you can go for whole fat milk and whole fat yogurt. And this method could apply to nearly every protein source out there. The goal is to swap the ingredients that increase your total calories per serving. And the best way to go about this is to do so you're not adding to the additional volume of food that you're eating. You're only increasing the calories. If done correctly, you won't be compromising your macro or micronutrient goals. If you follow all of these tips, you'll have optimized your diet in a foolproof way and be 100% confident that you'll never miss your calorie goal ever again. You'll forget that you even struggled with your diet in the first place and could put all of your focus on training so you could finally make the gains that you deserve to have. And if you found this video helpful and want an even deeper dive on all of these concepts while having direct access to my support, be sure to join my free school community, Muscle Truth University, with the link in the description below. I'll catch you guys on the next one.